Erev Shabbat. Let's talk a little bit about how we do on Erev Shabbat and Motze Shabbat. So I want to tell you, right, as we mentioned before already, Erev Shabbat, when do you light Chanuka candles? You have to light before Shkia, right? After Shkia, how can you do, right? It's already Shabbat, you cannot light anymore. What do you want to do? Break Shabbat? Right? You cannot do that, right? So you got to do it before. So what's the reason why we can do this? Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, right, Plaga Mincha, which is an hour before Shkia, it's already, time for Arvit. It's night already, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So we go according to Rabbi Yehuda because we have no choice. Erev Shabbat, we have no choice. What else can we do, right? So we go according to that. So what do? You can light half hour before Shkia. That's a good time, like 40 minutes before, whatever, up to an hour is okay, not too much because, now the hours are short. The truth is you shouldn't do an hour, like 45 minutes maximum. 40 minutes, maximum, right? Half hour before Shkia, you light the Chanuka candles, and then what you do is you make a bracha and everything, right? And then you light the Shabbat candles after, right? First Chanuka, then Shabbat. That's the way it works, right? That's what we do. There's no other choice, right? As we said. So, what about Motze Shabbat, right? What do we do Motze Shabbat? What's the best thing to do, proper thing to do? We already spoke about this last year, right? But I'll repeat you again, right? Just to make sure you remember, right? That there's a machloket, which comes first in the shul, in the Beit Knesset. Havdalah comes first, or right the Chanuka comes first. So what we do is, you would think, right, it should be first Havdalah, but the minhag is not like that. The minhag is we do first Chanuka, and then we do Havdalah, right? That's the opposite of what you would think, right? You would think it's not like that, but this is the way we do it. What's the reason for this, by the way? Why do we do Chanuka first? The reason is because if we do Havdalah, right, everybody's going to go home, they're going to miss the Chanuka, so there's not going to be any so many Nisa. Nobody wants to stay so long, so we tell them, oh, wait, don't go anywhere. First we do Chanuka, so you see Chanuka, right? So this way we do Pirsum Nisa. That's what we do, right? In the shul, that's how we do it. But when you go home, just the opposite, right? First you do Havdalah, and then you do Chanuka, right? But here's the thing, I have to tell you the truth, right? That Maran, we were with him, Motze Shabbat, Chanuka. He wouldn't light the Chanuka candles, or any candles, right, until Rabbeinu Tam. You know what I mean? So Rabbeinu Tam is usually 72 minutes, that's the average. But now in the winter, it's 60 minutes really, because the hours are shorter. So the truth is, according to what Maran used to hold, also Rav Moshe Feinstein, Alav Shalom, he held the same way. They both held, that you shouldn't light any candles until Rabbeinu Tam, because it's Deoraita, it's from the Torah, lighting candles. It's not from the rabbis, It's not like using your phone, that's not esh. There's no esh in the phone. Otherwise your phone is going to explode. Right? You don't want that, right? there's no esh in your phone. It's just a battery, Battery is not esh. It's not fire, right? So therefore it's only rabbinical, That's the thing. So therefore, a phone you can use, no problem, even 20 minutes after Shkia, time of the Geonim. You can always use your phone. But when it comes to lighting a fire, mamash, esh, you should wait until Rabbeinu Tam, really, the proper thing to do. It's not 100% obligation, but that's the proper way to, the proper way to do, proper thing to do. Not 100% obligation, because the minhag is not like that. But anyway, the point is, right, that Maran used to say, he refused, in the Beit Knesset, he refused to light the candles, of the Chanuka before Rabbeinu Tam. He would tell them, no. So what did he do? You know what he did? He closed the shul, and told them to go home. He told them, go light at home. We're not going to do Chanuka over here. Because until Rabbeinu Tam, Chilul Shabbat, you're being Mechalel Shabbat, right? According to Rabbeinu Tam. So you shouldn't do that. So you got to wait an hour, according to Maran. That's the way he held, and according to Rav Moshe Feinstein also, that's the way they held. You should wait until Rabbeinu Tam. So, what about Havdalah, right? Havdalah, you also have to light a candle. But you know what he did, right? He used to have a child, lighting the Havdalah candle. That's how he did the Havdalah, Adult wouldn't do it, because it wasn't Rabbeinu Tam yet. So, the child would light the candle. Child is, we don't have to be so careful, about Rabbeinu Tam, to be machmir with a child. He's still katan. He's not bar mitzvah, So the child would light. So then you could ask, right? Maybe also child should light the Chanuka candles. Why not? That was my question, I was thinking about that. But he closed the shul. He said, no, I don't want nobody lighting. You know why? Because it's not kavod, that the child should light the Chanuka candles for the tzibur, It's not kavod. I mean, it's like a child, little kid, comes up there, It's not proper, to do it this way. So this is the reason why he didn't want, the child to light. But when it comes to Havdalah candle, the child would light it, because that's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to make the bracha. You know what I mean? The mitzvah is not to light the candle. So that's the reason why he used to do it that way. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. רבי חנן, שאומר, לעשה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעזרת ישראל, לפיכך הכיר בה להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר אדוני חפץ, למען צדקו יגדיר תורה בידיר.